If you have what a lot of people would consider an easy life, but you're still miserable, feel guilty about it, and don't know what to do, this video is for you. Hey everybody, my name is Leah Benson, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist, coach, psychedelic guide, and creator of a personal development program based on bioenergetic exercise, and I'm in Tampa Bay. And today, I'm going to explain why happiness, call it peace of mind, emotional satisfaction, or whatever you want, isn't actually too much to ask, even if you're one of those people whose life looks perfectly fine to everyone else, and you feel like a whiny little baby for even wondering. Okay, here's the deal, no sugarcoating. The reality is that if you have a life that you know at some level you really shouldn't be complaining about, but you still just don't feel that great inside most of the time, you've got some stuff in your head that you've never encountered before. And by stuff, I mean unconscious patterns and the history that gave rise to those patterns. And for things to be different for you in the long run, you are going to have to get to know that stuff. Stuff like feelings, painful memories, things that seem pointless to bring up. But before we go there, let's talk about what I mean when I say happy, because I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I'm not talking about sunshine and rainbows all the time. I mean having the ability to calm yourself down when you're upset and generate a boost of energy when you're down. I mean having enough natural energy to get through the day without stimulants or sedatives. Having the ability to feel life's joys and sorrows without being overwhelmed by them for too long. And I mean having the ability to experience good emotions and not be controlled by bad ones. It is not impossible to have these things consistently. It just takes some time and effort. And if you want the balanced life that I like to call emotional utopia, you'll need to decide that spending some time and effort is worth it. Because I'm not talking about a quick fix. I'm talking about lifelong change. I'm talking about gaining a fundamental capability that allows you to flourish no matter what happens. Symptom management may bring you to therapy, but the reality is that symptoms will always come back if you haven't addressed the underlying reasons that you have symptoms in the first place. And that's where the time and effort come in. That's where something other than symptom management disguised as therapy comes in. Because as you might have guessed, since I'm a therapist, of course, I'm selling therapy. And the kind of therapy I sell is called bioenergetic analysis. And that just means that as we look at all the stuff I mentioned earlier, like feelings, painful memories, and things that seem pointless to talk about, we'll also be paying attention to how you inhabit your body, how you approach the world physically, and how you typically get charged up, overwhelmed, or depleted in the face of the mental stuff you carry around. And that's all relevant because there isn't a thought in your head that doesn't come with a corresponding physical state of your body. So if we don't keep an eye on it, then we're missing a giant amount of information about what's going on with you as you go about your life. That's information we need to know in order to get you where you want to be. Now, if I were you, I might be wondering, why would I go to therapy if there's nothing really wrong with me? And my answer is, well, because as I said, this isn't about symptom management. This is about getting to know how you do you and why. And because if you're like most relatively or wildly successful people who aren't enjoying their lives or who just want to feel some peace of mind but can't, you're going to need to get some skills at doing some things you don't know how to do that you need to know how to do to be able to enjoy your life. So you could totally run off to India and learn how to meditate and gain a lot of the same skills that you'll get in therapy. But, well, I'll just leave it to you to decide if that's a better idea after you hear me out. I'm here to tell you that therapy, specifically bioenergetic therapy, can help you get what you need to have the kind of mental and emotional life you want. And no, it's not meditation. I didn't mean to confuse you with that India thing. So before I let you go, two things. First, an assignment, should you wish to accept it. very deliberately and slowly, turn your attention to your attitude about therapy. Notice the specific thoughts you have about it, about therapists, about the value of therapy, about whether you can trust anyone to help you with your emotional life. And once you've done that, think about how that is the same or different than how you approach anything unknown. How is it the same or different than how you approach any intimate relationship? How are these thoughts influenced by people who you entrusted your emotional life to in the past, like your parents or mentors? Have you ever had anyone in your life you could trust with your most intimate feelings and thoughts? And if you haven't, how does that influence your ideas about what therapy could possibly be and how it could possibly help you? I mean, the idea might almost seem like the idea of going to the moon if you haven't had anyone like that. You'd have zero sense that the experience would or could help you. And that's relevant information about yourself and relevant to how you approach relationships in general, intimate and otherwise. And the reason I had you do it, and what I want you to understand from it, is that what happens in therapy is really nothing more than a very complex version of the process I just asked you to go through with yourself, except you'd have a person with you who is an expert at it, who will see things you can't about you, and who will be dedicated to helping you get really good at it, which assumes they're good at it themselves, but that's another story. Now, the second thing is that while I gave you a tiny peek into bioenergetic therapy in this video, I've actually written an entire book where I open up the black box of what therapy is in general, how bioenergetic therapy is different than a lot of other therapies, and how doing bioenergetic therapy can help you live the life you want. It's called Emotional Utopia, and I just released an updated second edition, so that's the one you'll want if you decide to look for it. You'll find it anywhere you can buy or borrow books, or at the link in the description in case you're interested. And that's it. I'll see you next time.